If you're always a bit nervous whenever you need to cook large quantity jollof rice like this, and you find yourself worrying about whether it will turn out right or not, I want to say you're watching the right video. This video will remove all your fears and doubts about making delicious bulk jollof rice. Today, I'm cooking 12 Derica of rice, that's about 10 kg to feed 50 people. The rules are the same for cooking small quantity, but you need some extra tips which I'm going to share with you. You will hear me talk about the measurements I used in the video, and I will also add the measurements in the description box, so please check it out. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Remy, and apart from spending time with you here, I offer catering services in Lagos, Nigeria. So I am confident about this recipe I'm sharing with you today. So without further ado, let's start cooking. So this is the tomatoes I'm using, and it's about 4,000 naira. It's in a 20-liter bucket and it's almost full. This is the bucket. I have washed these very well and they are fresh tomatoes. I believe that the quality of the outcome of your food depends on the quality of the ingredients. So it is important to just get really good ingredients and your food is going to come out well. To the tomatoes, I'm going to add tatashe. I have washed these as well. I also removed the seed. As you can see, I've removed the seeds in this tatashe. These are red bell peppers. In case you're wondering what tatashe is, I'm going to transfer these to the tomatoes. This is bawa or cayenne pepper. I also removed the seeds from these because they are the small ones. They usually have a lot of seeds, and I want my stew base to have a very smooth finish because I'm going to use some of these for buka stew for amala. So I decided to take out the seeds. If I'm not using up to this, maybe I would have left the seed on, but because I'm using quite some quantity, I don't know if you can see the quantity right now, so I decided to take out the seeds from most of these. They are really the small ones. The ones that are bigger than these usually don't have plenty seeds like that, so I just find that it is safer to take out the seeds if you can. If you cannot, you will use lesser quantity. At the end of the day, I'm going to show you the quantity of pepper mix that I'm going to use for my jollof rice, but I want to just show you the composition of the pepper mix first. The other ones, the pepper, tatashe. If you're cooking for a lot of people, I always say that it is best to be safe, not too much pepper. And if you're in Nigeria and you're Yoruba, you know that the Yorubas love pepper. So if you are certain that your guests are mostly Yorubas, you may want to do a bit more peppers. That is a red scotch bonnet. So I'm using this quantity. This is the onions I'm using, and as you all know, you know the language onions is speaking in the market now, but this is just right for the quantity of tomatoes and peppers that I have in the bucket. Besides, these are red onions, so I have to be careful when using them because they have the tendency to sort of darken the pepper mix, the color of the pepper mix. So it is best when this is the common one in the market now, and they're so expensive. So because this is what I can get, I am using it in moderation. If it were to be yellow or white onions, I would definitely use more than this, but this is just okay. So everything is right in the bucket. The bucket is full, and I'm going to take to the commercial grinding machine so they can blend it smoothly for me. But before I go, I'd like to say that I am not adding ginger and garlic to this bucket of pepper mix because I am going to be needing some of this pepper mix to make my authentic buka stew. If you have watched my video on authentic buka stew, you will understand better what I am talking about, because for authentic buka stew, I do not want the taste of ginger or garlic in it, and that is why I'm not going to be adding that in this pepper mix. So it is still going to come in, but definitely not in this pepper mix I have here. So this will go off to the grinding machine. This is the beef I'm using, and this is my ginger garlic paste. It's late already, that's why if you notice that the light is not so bright. It's about 8 p.m. here. So I'm going to use some of these for the beef, and I'm going to preserve some for chicken. I will be using chicken and beef, so I'm going to add some of these. In this mixture I have ginger, garlic and onions. I like to blend everything together like that. So I think I have enough for the beef now. I added stock cubes, and I added curry powder and some dried thyme. I'm going to also throw in a few bay leaves. So I've mixed everything very well, and it will most likely still release some juice, so I'm not going to add any water now. I decided to do the boiling of beef and chicken off camera just to save time. I don't want this video to be too long. This is the chicken I'm using. I seasoned it, like I said, with the ginger garlic paste, the remaining one that I left from seasoning the turkey, the beef I meant to say. So I'm going to be done frying in no time. All right. So the beef and the chicken is down there, and I fried the beef last, and that's what I have in this warmer. The pomo you can see here is for the abula stew I talked about. I have fried it till crisp. If you have seen my video on how to soften white pomo, you would know this trick. This is my pepper mix after boiling. You can see that it is very thick. It boiled down from this level here. I took some of it out for my buka stew. This is very thick, and I'm not even quite sure that I can finish this for the jollof, the quantity of jollof I'm making. In the oil, some of the oil that I used in frying the beef and the chicken. I'm just eyeballing the measurement, but I will try to put what I think is an estimation of what I use in the description box. So please go and check the description box. I'm going to list out everything I use, and as we go along, I'm going to try and show you and also tell you. I have chopped onions here, so I'm going to use about 2 handfuls. So I'm just going to stir this and allow it to fry for like 3 to 5 minutes. The thing with jollof is it requires patience. You need to let one stage complete before you move on to the other stage if you want good results. So I'm just going to let this fry for a bit. This is the tomato mix, and this is the tomato paste. This is the one I'm using, and this size I think is what is the size now? 1 kg. Yeah, it's a 1 kg size. I'm going to add my tomato paste now. If I eventually use everything, I'll let you know. I'm going to see how it is first. I'm going to eventually use everything. Yeah. So I decided to use everything.
I like the container of this one.
So like I said, one stage needs to fully complete before we move on to the next. This stage is very, very important. You need to really fry this tomato paste very well. I'm going to use water to rinse out the rest of the tomato paste I have here. The rest of the ginger garlic paste I made, which I used in boiling the beef and the chicken. So I'm going to add the rest inside this and fry it together with the tomato paste. So I'm going to add curry powder. I'm going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of this. 1, 2, and this is the third. Some dried thyme as well. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of this. You can see that the color has changed, it has darkened. So I'm going to add pepper mix now. I'll use about 5 or 4 spoons of this spoon. So I have 5 of that there. I'm going to mix, stir that in properly, and I'm going to let this fry fry very well. The tomatoes have swallowed the oil, but it will still rise to the top. I'm using Tasty Cubes chicken flavor, and I'm going to add, for now, I'm going to add just 2 tablespoons because my stock, that's my beef stock, it is very rich. So to be safe, I'm just going to take it easy. If it needs more later, I'm going to add it when I taste and I feel that it does need more. I'm going to add a bit of salt as well. As you can see, the oil is starting to flow to the top. So I'm just going to wait for a few more minutes and let this fry well before I add water to cook the rice. And while I'm waiting for this to happen, I'm going to go and wash my rice thoroughly. The oil has risen to the top, so this is well fried enough. But before I add water, I'm going to use my stock before. Remember I told you I'm going to use my stock before. That's why I didn't add too much seasoning. This is my stock and I'm going to add that first. I have sieved it, so there's no, it's just a rich stock. I've added about 1 of these, which was a mixed stock, so I'm adding 1 more water, which is this now. I can shake it. I didn't use everything completely. I'm going to leave some. When I add the rice and I see the level at which the water is, I'm going to decide if I should add the rest or not. I'm going to mix this and cover it. Meanwhile, I'm going to taste to see if the seasoning is enough. I'm just going to add a bit more. It tastes good already. I'm adding 1 more of this and just a bit more salt. This is okay for now. My back frozen, I can cover it. So I'm going to cover this and let it come to a rolling boil before we add the rice. So you want to make sure that you wash very well until this water runs clear. So I'm going to do this 3 to 4 times until the water is clear. And after pouring the rice, you want to make sure that the heat to the pot is steady and is burning very well. If it's burning slow or is not well circulated, that is when you will get what the Yorubas call asawo, where you have some that are cooked, are done, and some that are not done, and the rice now starts to look funny. So I'm going to stir in the rice. You can see the stew base is very rich. Sheesh. So I'm just going to stir it well like this and cover it to cook while I open at intervals to check. There is no rule that says you cannot stir your jollof, because I've heard a lot of people talk about if you stir it, it will burn and all of that. But the thing is, with this quantity of jollof, whether you stir or not, it will burn. And if you do not stir it, how do you know how the rice is progressing? So I always say you should open at intervals, stir and check. So it is very important to stir. Stirring also helps to make sure that everything, every grain of rice is properly cooked. So everything has to cook evenly. And I need to mention that the heat is not too high. I have left it at medium, but it is burning evenly. I also added some bay leaves there. So after checking, I figured out I needed to add more water because the grains were still breaking, as in raw. I didn't expect that this rice would require so much water like this. So I added one more of that bucket you can see right beside me there. And that's okay, you can add some water if you see that it needs more. And besides, this is better than having too much water from the start. So I covered it again to cook for another 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I opened to check. I'm going to stir this again, and at this point when I checked, I noticed that the rice, the grains are not as tough as it was earlier when I checked. But there's still some resistance to it, and we don't want tough rice. So I am going to leave it with this water. This will be enough to finish off the work. I'm not going to add any more water. So another very important tip, if you notice your rice is at that stage where it is almost done but not completely done, please don't add water. It is not only water that gets food done. I had a cook who messed up my food a few months ago with water. So instead of adding water at this stage, what I did was to use a foil paper to cover the rice. What this will do is to lock in the steam, and the steam is going to help cook the rice to perfection without using any water. If you have watched this point, please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to this channel if you have not. I have loads of useful kitchen tips for you and amazing recipes like this one. I covered this on low heat for 15 minutes. Let's check and see what we have. This rice has the perfect texture. The taste is mwah. It is giving everything it is supposed to give. The color is amazing. No food coloring here, just tomato paste and a rich blend of peppers that I used, and of course fresh tomatoes. This rice is so delicious. I even wanted to record some of the very amazing comments I got on my meals, all of my meals, but I got too busy. So busy that I could not even record videos or even take pictures for my food business page. But I did get the video for this one and the video for the pepper soup I made. On this same day, I cooked jollof rice, fried rice, amala, abula. That's begiri with ewedu, and of course the authentic buka stew. One very important tip I'd like to share with you before this video ends is that you should start your prep early. Start preparing early and start cooking early. That way you're not in a hurry and forgetting to add one ingredient or just rushing over everything. So starting out early will help you to achieve a great result. If you find this video useful, please like, comment, share so more people can learn. Also, let me know which bulk recipe you would like me to film next. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon with another fantastic recipe. Bye.